Well, hello and welcome to the last Saturday of my spring term. Hello, I'm Liberty. Welcome to my channel. Today I am doing the fourth installment of my quest to find the best queer YA romance out there. As you can see, the sun is beginning to come out, the joy is real. Nothing is better than a sunny day and a blue sky. So that's all I have to say. So the first book I'll be reading for this video is Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas, which has a trans protagonist as well as sort of witchy, sorcery, spirits, paranormal kind of vibes. So that's going to be interesting. Not usually the kind of thing I read, so we'll see how that goes. So I'm now 30% of the way through Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas, and I can therefore finally tell you what the book is actually about. I am discovering that it is about a guy called Yadril who is navigating being trans in a Latinx community, which is not just Latinx in the LA part of the USA, but is magic as well, and basically different genders perform different tasks, and he's trying to prove that he is indeed a boy by doing the boy task, if that makes sense. But then they've got a kind of accidental spirit summoning situation, lots of drama going on. It's actually quite funny, but the other side of it is like I'm not such a fan of Julian, who is the spirit that's been accidentally summoned. I find him a bit annoying, honestly. He's just brash and angry, and it's making communication very difficult. So I hope that there's some character development and we understand more of his past soon, because right now I'm just not a fan. Oh, and that's the other thing, it's not particularly proving to be queer romance yet. I don't know if that's actually part of the story, beginning to doubt Google and Storycraft's tags, but if it is, I'll let you know. How do I keep getting myself into this situation where the books I've chosen for my queer YA romance quest are not queer or YA or romance? Huh? Well, hello. I now have some updates on Cemetery Boys, which I finished yesterday and I thought was cracking. I gave it 4.25 stars because once again, I was proven wrong. I was proven wrong about Julian, who turned out to be fabulous, although he's definitely aggressive and kind of probably needs some therapy. Definitely. All of them do, actually. I was also proven wrong about the genre, actually. It turns out that there definitely was queer romance involved, and it was quite a strong subplot. It wasn't sort of tangential or in the background. So I think it does still count as a queer YA romance, even though the central plot is actually fantasy or magical realism. But no, I really enjoyed it. I did. And it was a very kind of unusual story for me personally, as someone who doesn't really read fantasy. But it was also very unusual just in the fact that it had a trans main character, a trans Latinx main character, who was written with such like kind of grace and, you know, carefulness, because the author themselves is trans, I think. And so it was just really wonderful to read. It was a good step forward. And that's not even counting Julian's massive friends, who were a very diverse bunch as well. So overall, excellent on the diverse characters front. That definitely, they get a point for that one. Now, according to my book, I said brilliant twist in the big reveal. It's true. You saw me in my surprise face when I was sat in hall and suddenly things happened. I won't say what because I don't want to spoil it, but like it actually very much blew my mind. I was like, did not see this coming. Maritza, the BFF character, turns out she's very important. Did not see that coming, because usually BFFs kind of act as sidekicks in these kind of stories, but oh no. I said evocative imagery. A small negative was that some characters were introduced without much follow-up. For example, Julian's friends and Julian's brother and things like that. So there could have been a little bit more kind of threads interwoven there, but in general, it was just done so well. Everything was foreshadowed, which I only realised towards the end. Everything was written well. It was just great. The scene setting, oh, amazing. Dia dos Muertos description, incredible. I was just a fan. It was great. And I'm pretty sure that Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas is up against Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. And I've read it before, but I think I've decided I'm going to read it again. I've borrowed it from the library in like ebook format. I'm going to quickly read that and then tell you what I think. Hello! I have finally finished reading Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli for the second time in my life, or maybe third. You know how I was using it as kind of like the crux of the joke? At least in the first episode, I was kind of holding it up, at least in my head, as kind of the epitome of 2014. So not perhaps the most progressive in terms of diversity or storyline or anything really. But then actually reading it, I was quite surprised. It was actually very engaging. It was very fast paced. I think she wrote teenagers, specifically the kind of 16, 17-year-old age, really well. The kind of like burgeoning adulthood, but still that sort of childish innocence and simplicity and the ability of people that age to get into trouble without meaning to. I thought she wrote that really well. I also realised literally as soon as I opened the book, like the first line is kind of cracking. I can't remember it now. Okay, huge apologies. I know I just said that the first line is excellent, but I can't really demonstrate that to you because it was a library book on my phone, which I've now given back to the library, and I can't find it anywhere on the internet. So well done me for that one. But safe to say, it involves blackmail. It's just very effective at like catching the reader in. I was like, ooh, that's a really good opening. That's probably the better of the openings I've read so far for this whole series. Take that as you will. In other news, I gave it 3.5 stars, so it wasn't excellent, and actually that's lower than I rated it previously because I had rated it 4 stars last time around, but I certainly think that it lacked some depth and it felt quite rushed, especially towards the end. Like certainly I think it could have been a bit longer for what it was trying to do. Not sure I loved it as much. Certainly in comparison to the film, I'm actually in the kind of strange position where I'm wondering if I prefer the film to the book, although that does raise questions because there are some problematic aspects to the films. So who knows? But anyway, in conclusion, the winner of today's episode is Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. And of course, that is because, first of all, obviously, I gave it 4.25 stars, I think, versus Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda's 3.5. So that kind of demonstrates my feelings toward the subject. But also just on the basic criteria, we have better diversity, we have slightly stronger kind of plot in terms of it has the fantasy and folklore elements, and it's really quite fun and strange and new, and I loved it. Development of plot and characters, yeah, I mean, like I say, I think there was definitely more kind of progression and development and sort of depth to Cemetery Boys, even though Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda was very fun, and there clearly is character growth. Like, it's a coming of age story, there's always character growth. Simon especially, like, you know, he shows himself to be a bit of a dick and then like realizes it, so that's good, I guess. And finally, how much I enjoyed it. I've got to say, I think that's probably equal. Like, both of them were just really light, really fun, easy to read. But there was possibly a bit more drama to Cemetery Boys, and that kind of gripped me quite a lot. Certainly Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda, another pro on the movie front, is like it genuinely made me so sad, the kind of bit where everything is going wrong towards Act 3 for Simon. Like, in the movie, that makes me tear up. Like, he is so lost and it's heartbreaking. But, you know, in the book, it's a very short period of time and it's not really kind of emotionally delved into. So lacking in the kind of emotional impact front. But like I say, in terms of just making me laugh, both of them were kind of light and funny and, you know, hopeful in the end. So appreciated them kind of equally. But yes, like I say, in the end, Cemetery Boys wins. So thank you very much for joining me, and I really hope that you come back next time for episode 5. 5. I can't believe I've already done 4. It's literally been a few months of this. The problem is I keep reading these books at quite a fast rate and then having to like film to keep up with myself. So I've got quite a backlog. So you might be watching this episode in like June for all I know. Sorry if it is actually June when I release this. I filmed it in March. But anyway, hope you have a great day. Thank you very much for joining me and see you soon. Bye.